This is method 2, factor by grouping, which we use when we have 4 terms. So what you do is we look at the first 2 terms. We see if there's a GCF we could take out of those. In this case, we could take out a 4 and a W squared. So we would divide out that 4W squared, which for this first term would be 8 over 4 is 2. W to the 5th over W squared, 2 would cancel to give us W to the 3rd, plus 12 over 4 is 3, and W squared cancels. So that's out of the first 2 terms. Then we look at the last 2 terms, and we could take out a 5 from those coefficients, and we can't take out a power of W. One thing to think about is that all the signs in this first parentheses are positive, and the signs here are negative. So we also want to take out a negative 5 so that we can change the signs to match up with this parentheses. So we divide out a negative 5. When we do that, 10 over negative 5 is 2, W to the 3rd, and then 15 over 5 is 3, and the negatives cancel, so plus 3. Then we end up with this matching term of 2W to the 3rd plus 3. That becomes one of the factors, and the other factor becomes the 2 GCF terms that were taken out, written as a factor, so 4W squared minus 5. Okay, look at number 6. So same situation, look at the first 2 terms. We could take out a 3. We can also take out a k from those first 2 terms. So we would divide out 3k. And we would be left with 3 over 3, k over k cancels, so just j squared. And then 15 over 3 is 5, and k over k cancels, so j squared plus 5. And if we look at these second 2 terms, j squared and 5, we can't take out a GCF from those, so if that ever happens and we're trying to do grouping, we would just take out a 1. And we would have, divided by 1, we just get what was there already, j squared plus 5. And then our factored form is that j squared plus 5 that shows up twice, multiplied by the 2 GCFs that were taken out. So 3k plus 1. Okay. Look at number 8, 2c plus 3ay. If we try to group and find a GCF between those 2 terms, there's no GCF that could be taken out. And between the last 2 terms, it's the same situation. So that neither pair shares anything, but if we look among the terms, we do have some a's that are shared, some y's. So really what we need to do, if we can't take out a GCF just right from the start, if we want to reorder the terms, just write them in a different order. So in this case, we could write 2c plus ac, so use those 2 terms together, plus 6y plus 3ay. That's not the only way to do it, but that is one way to regroup them where we now have GCFs between the pairs of terms. So now from this first term, they share a c, so we could divide out a c, and we'd get 2 plus a. And then the second set of terms, we could divide out a 3 and also a y. So if we divide out a 3, that is 2, and the y cancels. And then divide out the 3 here, that cancels, the y cancels, and we just get 2 plus a. And now those parentheses terms match, so factored form would be that matching parentheses of 2 plus a multiplied by the 2 GCFs added together, c plus 3y.